Morning, morning. Day 26. That overhead light's doing me no favours, is it? Morning, Sal. Morning, Matt. Different setup again today. I stayed with a friend last night down on the south coast before I do the mammoth drive back up later. So slightly different background, but same old me. I thought we would go through a nice slow version of Sun Salutation B today. It's very similar to Sun Salutation A, obviously. It has most of the same stuff in it. It just has that Warrior 1 that we practiced. I think it might have been last week now. We've done Warrior 2 a lot this week, but Warrior 1, which obviously you can substitute for high lunge, otherwise known as crescent lunge, but we'll just play with it. We'll go slow, we'll play with it, we'll work through it, just see how it feels. But it makes sense to go through Sun Salutation B at this point, I think, because then we can marry A and B together, and we've got a really nice flow. So yeah, when you're ready, we'll come to seated first. Just finding that comfortable seat. Just to close down the eyes. Placing the hands in the lap maybe. Just finding somewhere for them to gently rest. Just bringing your awareness in. Bringing your focus onto your breath before you do anything to it. Just notice. And as you're ready, maybe lengthening your inhales and exhales. If it feels comfortable, maybe breathing in through the nose. And you can do the whole thing through the nose, but I know a lot of people prefer that breath out through the mouth, feeling that release. And as you're ready, just blinking the eyes open, keeping a hold of that breath. We are just going to come to cat-cow first. We'll just do some nice gentle stretches to warm ourselves up for the next sequence. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. And then as you inhale, just drop the belly down, gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest, really pressing through the hands. Inhale. You know the drill with this one now. Exhale, find it in line with your own breath. And any other kind of wiggles you might want to take left or right, some circles over the wrists. Just working into it. And then we're just going to tuck through the toes. This is going to be the first of 2 downward facing dogs today. Just pressing the hands, pushing the heels down towards the ground as you send the hips up towards the sky. Option to walk straight to the top of the mat, or you can bend through one leg. Let me move forward slightly. Bend through one leg, straighten through the other, just to wake the body up slightly. And as you're ready, we're just going to walk towards the top of your mat or wherever you're practicing today. Let everything hang really heavy in that ragdoll pose. Let your neck go. Bend through the legs. And then with the chin tucked, we're just going to very slowly roll all the way up. The head's going to lift last. Really slowly thinking vertebrae on top of vertebrae and meeting in mountain pose. So, Sun Salutation 1, you are going to recognise this sequence, very, very similar to Sun Salutation A. We're just going to throw some Warrior 1 into the mix. So as you inhale, you're going to send the hands up high, gazing up towards the thumbs. As you exhale, bringing the hands down, bending through the knees, hinging at the hips, finding forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Keep those elbows in towards the body. And then as you exhale, sending everything down, hands come to the mat, bend the knees. We're going to step it back into a plank pose, maybe right leg followed by left. And I'll give you an option today. You can come to the knees and then bend through the arms to come all the way down onto the belly. Or from plank pose, you can come all the way down, bending through the elbows, coming to lie on your front. From our front, we're going to bring the hands under the shoulders. We're going to find that upward facing dog. So you can splay through the fingers, find those spider fingers to find that grip. You can be on the top of the feet or tuck through the toes. As you inhale, pressing through the hands, opening through the chest as you straighten the arms, finding a back bend that feels comfortable for you. And then as you exhale, bending the elbows, coming all the way back down. Tuck the toes, spider through the hands. You know what's coming. Send the hips up high as you find downward facing dog. So we're going to be here a little bit longer today. You can always bend the knees and come to rest here whenever you need to. In downward facing dog, we're going to bring the right foot, just play with it. We're going to bring the right foot forwards. Have a go. It's not easy. It's not necessarily comfortable for people, but there's lots of different ways that you can do that. You could bring your knees down as we do in that low lunge, bringing the leg forwards and you're in the same position. Or you can slowly step it forward. You can use your hand to bring your foot forward. Bringing that right foot forwards, we're going to pivot on that back foot slightly, so it's at that 45-degree angle. And then we're going to inhale, Warrior 1. Arms above the head. If this doesn't feel comfortable with the 45-degree angle on the back foot here, because we're squaring the hips towards the front of the mat or just towards that front knee, it kind of doesn't always feel great on that back knee for people. You can pivot on the back foot, make it a high lunge. So we're going to inhale as you bring those arms up above, nice and long through the spine. And then we're going to exhale, bringing them all the way back down. Step that right foot back to meet the left, finding that plank pose again. Maybe coming to the knees, bending through the elbows to come down onto the ground. Pressing through the mat, spider through the fingers, they're underneath the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing dog. Find that back bend that feels good for you. Exhale. Oh, I got it wrong. We've got 3 downward facing dogs. Press through the hands, tuck the toes, press it back, and send the hips up, downward facing dog. We're going to do the other side. So bring that left foot this time forwards in between the hands. And again, if that feels easier to do by bringing the knees down, bringing that left foot forward like we do in low lunge, then raising the back knee. Pivot on that back right foot, send the toes out to 45 degrees. And then as you inhale, press through both feet, through the outer edge of that back right foot. As you inhale, bringing everything up really strong. Don't forget this is a warrior pose. Your hips are going to want to swing round towards the right. Really trying to find some integrity through that front knee as you bend into it. Pressing the outer edge of the back leg. Squaring off the hips. If it doesn't feel good, pivot that back foot, find high lunge. Play with it. See what feels nice, see what doesn't feel nice. It might be a pose that you skip altogether. As you exhale, bring the hands down, frame that front foot, and step it back. Plank pose. You can come to lie all the way down on the front, or bring the knees down, bend into the elbows as we come onto the front. We're just going to roll over onto our backs. And let's take some nice supine twists. I think we definitely have worked for those. We deserve them now. Bring the soles of your feet to the ground, pressing through the feet. Lift the hips, send them towards the right. Let your knees drop over towards the left. Maybe take the arms out wide, or bending at that 90-degree angle, giving yourself cactus arms if space is a little bit more limited, and maybe gazing over towards the right. Closing down the eyes. Coming to relax back down. Letting the breath return. Bringing the head back into centre. Lifting the knees. Pressing through the soles of the feet as you bring the hips back into centre. Let's take it to the other side. So lifting the hips. Let's take them over towards the left this time. Knees drop over towards the right. Maybe your gaze goes towards the left if that feels comfortable. Starting to feel yourself relaxing back. The breath returning to normal. As you're ready, bring the head back into centre, lifting the legs. Just press through the soles of your feet to bring your hips back into centre. And let's take the legs out long, arms out alongside, maybe palms face up. Or you could have one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And just let everything grow really heavy. Releasing any tension you might have in the shoulders, and the hips, through the legs. Releasing through the ankles, letting the feet drop out. Relaxing the muscles of the face. Just allowing yourself to be here. And as always, just acknowledging showing up this morning. Putting up with my 2 days of makeshift yoga. But showing up nonetheless. I will leave you here in your final resting pose. But as always, take the extra time if you have it. Give yourself that permission. And I will see you tomorrow for day 27, Saturday. We're nearing the end, guys. We've come so far. Thank you so much for joining. Have the best day.